Once upon a time, in a small and scenic village nestled at the foot of misty mountains, a rumor began to spread about an old antique shop. The shop, owned by an elderly woman named Greta, was filled with strange and beautiful trinkets from all over the world. Among these treasures was a small black doll dressed in an elegant yet faded dress, its eyes eerily lifelike. The villagers whispered that the doll moved on its own, sometimes appearing in different places within the shop. Greta, however, never confirmed the rumors and simply smiled whenever someone asked about the mysterious doll. One day, a curious young tourist named Eva arrived in the village, seeking adventure and new stories for her travel blog. Eva had always been fascinated by legends and mysteries, so when she heard about the moving black doll, she knew she had to see it for herself. She made her way to Greta's shop, her heart pounding with excitement and a bit of fear. The shop was dimly lit, and the scent of old wood and history hung in the air. Eva's eyes wandered over the shelves of strange artifacts until she finally saw the doll sitting on a shelf, motionless. Its dark eyes seemed to follow her as she approached, making her shiver despite the warmth of the room. "Is it true?" Eva asked Greta, her voice hushed with anticipation. Greta smiled kindly, her wrinkled face full of secrets. "Some say it moves, some say it doesn't," she replied cryptically. Not satisfied, Eva asked if she could stay in the shop after closing to see the doll for herself. Greta agreed, though her smile faded slightly, as if she knew something Eva didn't. As the sun set and the village fell into quiet darkness, Eva remained alone in the shop, staring at the doll. Hours passed, and nothing happened, except for the occasional creak of the floorboards. Just when she began to think the rumors were nothing more than tales, Eva felt a cold draft sweep through the shop. She turned around and gasped. The doll was no longer on the shelf. Her pulse quickened as she frantically looked around the room, spotting the doll sitting on a different shelf, its head slightly tilted. Eva froze, unable to believe her eyes. "It moved," she whispered to herself, her voice shaking. She grabbed her camera, determined to capture the phenomenon. But just as she clicked the shutter, the lights in the shop flickered and went out. The room was plunged into darkness, and Eva's breath caught in her throat. She fumbled for her phone to use its flashlight, but the screen remained stubbornly black. Panic rose inside her as she heard soft footsteps moving across the wooden floor. "Who's there?" she called out, her voice trembling. The footsteps stopped, and the silence was deafening. When the lights flickered back on, Eva was shocked to see the doll now sitting on the counter directly in front of her. Its glassy eyes stared into hers, and she could swear its lips had curled into a tiny, sinister smile. Eva backed away slowly, her mind racing to understand what was happening. She wasn't one to believe in ghosts or magic, but there was no denying what she had just witnessed. Summoning her courage, she decided to confront the mystery head-on. "Why do you move?" she asked the doll, half expecting no answer. To her horror, the doll's head slowly turned toward her, its voice soft and chilling. "I move because I am searching," the doll whispered. Eva's heart pounded in her chest as she stammered, "Searching for what?" The doll's eyes gleamed as it replied, "For freedom." Eva stepped back, her mind whirling. How can you be freed?" she asked, her curiosity outweighing her fear. The doll's tiny hand lifted, pointing to a dusty old book on a nearby shelf. Eva grabbed the book, its cover worn and its pages brittle with age. She flipped through it, finding an ancient legend about cursed dolls trapped by magic. According to the book, the doll could only be freed if someone willingly took its place. Eva's breath caught in her throat as the realization sank in. "You want me to take your place?" she whispered, horrified. The doll's smile widened, its eyes gleaming with a dark satisfaction. Yes, it whispered. Only then will I be free. Eva's mind raced as she tried to think of a way out. She had come to the village seeking adventure, but this was far more than she had bargained for. She wasn't about to let herself be trapped in a cursed doll forever. But the doll's gaze held her captive, its dark magic pulling her in. Eva realized she had to act quickly if she wanted to escape. I won't do it, she said firmly, taking a step back. The doll's eyes narrowed, and the room seemed to grow colder. Then you will never leave, it hissed. Eva's heart raced as she ran toward the door, but it slammed shut before she could reach it. She turned back to face the doll, her mind whirling with panic. Desperation drove her to grab the book again, searching for a solution. She found a passage that mentioned breaking the curse by destroying the source of the doll's power. Eva scanned the room, looking for anything that could be the source. Her eyes landed on a small, ornate box sitting on a high shelf. Without thinking, she grabbed a nearby stool and climbed up to reach the box. The doll's voice grew louder, more frantic, as Eva opened the box. Inside was a small, glowing gemstone, pulsing with a dark energy. No, the doll screamed, its voice filled with terror. Eva knew this was the key to breaking the curse. She hesitated for only a moment before smashing the gemstone against the floor. The room filled with a blinding light, and the doll let out a final, piercing scream. When the light faded, the doll lay still on the floor, its eyes lifeless and dull. Eva gasped for breath, her body trembling from the intensity of what had just happened. She had done it, the curse was broken, and she was free. The shop door creaked open, and the cold night air rushed in. Eva stepped outside, her heart still pounding, grateful to be alive. As she walked away from the shop, she realized that her adventure had been far more dangerous and thrilling than she could have ever imagined. The village was quiet, but Eva knew she would never forget the moving black doll. She pulled out her phone to document the experience, but paused, unsure if anyone would believe her. Smiling to herself, Eva decided that some mysteries were better left untold. As she left the village, she felt a renewed sense of courage and confidence. Her brush with the supernatural had taught her that not all adventures are what they seem. Sometimes, the scariest moments hold the greatest lessons. Eva vowed to continue her travels, but with a newfound respect for the unknown. She realized that every journey holds a mystery waiting to be discovered. The mountains loomed in the distance as Eva drove away, her heart light with the thrill of the unknown. She knew that no matter where she went, she would always carry the memory of the moving black doll with her. As she disappeared into the horizon, the village returned to its peaceful slumber. In the quiet of the old shop, the black doll remained still, its dark eyes now dull and lifeless. The mystery of the moving black doll was over, but its legend would live on forever. Tourists continued to visit the village, hoping to catch a glimpse of the famous doll. Some claimed to hear faint whispers or see shadows move within the shop. But the curse was broken, and the doll no longer held any power. Greta, watching from her window, smiled to herself, knowing that the right person had finally come along. Eva, meanwhile, traveled from place to place, searching for her next adventure. The world was full of wonders, and she was eager to explore them all. She had learned that courage wasn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it. And with that courage, she would continue to seek out the world's greatest mysteries. The moving black doll had been her greatest challenge yet, but it had also given her the strength to face anything. As Eva's journey continued, she knew that no matter what she encountered, she would never stop seeking the unknown.